If you've ever tried to film something on the go, maybe a street interview, a quick vlog, or even just a spontaneous reaction while you're out and about, then you already know how frustrating it can be to juggle different mics and setups. Not to mention managing charging, cables, adapters, and probably a bunch of dongles you don't even mean to pack. Honestly, wouldn't it be easier if one mic could just do it all, and do it well? This is the Boya Magic Mic. I don't use the word magic lightly, even though it's literally in the name. This is a shape-shifting, all-in-one wireless mic system, and it actually feels like it was designed by someone who's dealt with the same headaches the rest of us have. It's small, it's flexible, and it's got more power than you'd expect from something you can just throw in your bag. And I say that as someone who's had their fair share of disappointment with wireless mics. So far, these ones here have been very surprising. With so many microphones on the market, it is becoming increasingly hard to find one for you, but the Boya mic has a lot in store for it. So let's first start by unboxing it. So unboxing this guy, and straight out of the box, I will say the Boya Magic actually feels intentional. Inside you get 2 transmitters, a receiver, and the charging case, which also seconds as your pairing hub. Then they throw in a full set of adapters, Type-C, Lightning, and standard 3.5mm TRS. You've also got windshields, clips, and even a little mini desktop stand. So pretty much a complete kit from the start. To be honest, you could open it up, plug it in, and you'd be shooting in a couple of minutes without needing to hunt for extra bits. And honestly, that is rare, especially in this price range. I can actually safely say the whole kit has been streamlined for easy use out of the box. One of the first things I noticed was just how tiny these transmitters are. They are about 13mm thick and weigh about 9 grams. Basically nothing. You can clip them to your shirt and forget about them. No drag, no weird lumps sticking out, and more importantly, they don't look goofy on camera. Build quality wise, yes, it is lightweight, but it doesn't feel cheap. The matte finish is actually really nice to touch, and it doesn't get smudgy or slippery, which I am grateful for. The clips, honestly, they are a lot sturdier than I expected. I didn't think I'd trust the magnetic mounts at first, usually those things are more of a gimmick, but they've held up surprisingly well. The only thing is, if you are wearing really thin or silky material, it can slide about a bit, especially if you're walking around or adjusting your shirt. It's not a huge deal, but worth knowing so you don't suddenly find it pointing at your chin instead of your mouth. Now the case is plastic, sure, but it's got a clean finish. The lid shuts with this satisfying soft click, and it charges everything while keeping it all snug. That said, it's not exactly bomb-proof. I wouldn't be chucking it into the bottom of a bag full of metal camera gear without at least wrapping it in something. But for tossing in a backpack or carrying around in your hand, it is totally fine. Now here's where the whole magic part of the name actually makes sense, and not in a cheesy marketing way. This mic has 4 different physical modes packed into one setup. As mentioned earlier, you can clip it to your shirt like a normal lapel mic, but you can also screw it onto a handheld stick if you're doing street interviews, clock it onto a little stand for voiceovers or podcasts, or just slap it onto your camera's hot shoe and roll. And you can switch between all of those in like seconds. You really aren't limited to just one setup here. For me, that has been a complete game changer. Before, I'd be that person mentally juggling, okay, for this scene, I need that mic, and then I have to swap to this one for the next one. Now, I can just reconfigure this thing and keep going. I will say the first time I switched it around mid-shoot, I was half expecting it to not pair back up instantly or for the audio to glitch a bit. But honestly, it has been pretty smooth so far. The only real downside here is it makes me slightly lazy because I don't really have to bring my backup mics anymore. Let's talk a bit about the reliability, because honestly, this is where a lot of budget-friendly wireless mics have broken my heart. With the Boya Magic, I have had 0 dropouts so far. Indoors, outdoors, on my phone, on my DSLR, it has been very solid, I can't deny that. Audio quality's also been better than I expected. We're talking 48 kHz 24-bit recording, which basically means the files are clean and have room to tweak in post. Dynamic range is 144 decibels, which sounds super technical, but all it really means is it can handle quiet, whispery dialogue and sudden loud bursts without sounding like the mic's having a meltdown. Now, what's really clever about this microphone is even if you talk very softly like a whisper, it's able to pick it up really well. The frequency range goes 20 Hz to 20 kHz, so it's picking up the whole vocal range, plus little ambient details without that horrible tinny budget mic vibe. I've even noticed it catches subtle stuff like the low rumble of traffic in the distance or the tiny creak of a chair, which can be good or bad depending on whether you wanted that in the recording. But obviously in post-production, you've got room to improve that. Now the next best feature I think is the dual anti-peaking system. Basically, you've got two layers of protection. First, there's the built-in limiter that stops those sudden spikes. Then on top of that, it records a separate safety track at -12 decibels. So if you yell, laugh, or something loud happens out of nowhere, you don't end up with totally wrecked audio. Even if I'm shouting into the microphone even this close, as you can hear, there is no clipping. Pretty impressive. It's such a smart little addition. I've used pricier mics that still don't have this, and honestly, most systems need to make it standard. It's one of those things you don't think about until it saves your butt, and then you never want to go without it again. One thing I wasn't expecting to be actually very good is the AI noise cancelling. I put it to the test in real-world chaos outdoors, and you can listen for yourself. So I'm outdoors now, there is a lot of background noise, you should be able to hear a lot of cars, and the best thing about this microphone is when you want to go into noise cancellation mode, all you simply need to do is hit, and now we are actually in noise cancellation mode, so you should be able to hear a massive difference. A lot of the cars should be drowned out, and a lot of the people walking by, you should barely be able to hear them. I mean, you can't deny the difference is instantly noticeable. It's not perfect, you're still going to get the occasional bit of background slippage through, but it is good enough that in a lot of cases, I don't even bother cleaning it up in post. And as someone who really doesn't enjoy spending hours scrubbing through audio and editing it, yes, this has been a sanity saver. You can tweak all this through the Boya Central app, and honestly, it's actually more useful than most of the wireless mic apps I've messed with in the past. You can switch AI noise reduction on and off, adjust your gain, play with the EQ settings, and even push firmware updates. And I really do like that last bit because it means this mic can actually get better over time. I will say battery life is solid too. I shot around a full day across 3 locations, interviews, B-roll, voiceover pickups, and I didn't actually run out. The best thing is the case recharges the transmitters between shoots, and because everything fits in one small package, I don't even need to think about it. So I guess the question is, who's this really for? Well, I'd say it is definitely perfect for solo creators, vloggers, podcasters, remote teachers, musicians, journalists, basically anyone who jumps between different devices or shooting styles. If you've ever had to lug around 3 different mics for one shoot, this thing could honestly replace all of them. If this is something of interest to you, be sure to check it out in the link in the description. Let me know what you think. Till next time.